Today, the topic of our lecture is mass and weight. We shall discuss the difference between mass and weight. What is mass? It refers to how much material or matter there is in an object. Mass is the measure of amount of a matter in an object determining its resistance to acceleration. In other words, we can say that a mass is the quantity of a material, and because of which the mass is a scalar quantity and it has a magnitude only. Mass is not changed by changing the position. We can say that the mass is a constant. As mass is just the material quantity of a material of the object, therefore this quantity of material remains same everywhere on the earth and everywhere on the universe. Formula for the mass is equal to the force divided by acceleration, and we can say that the force is equal to the mass of the acceleration. If you know the mass of the material and the acceleration of the material, then you can estimate the force also. System International unit of the mass is a kilogram, and the symbol for the mass is small m. Now we will discuss the types of mass. There are basically four types of mass: inertial mass, gravitational mass, quantum mass, and the resistive mass. Common measurement instruments. We will discuss the instruments which are used to measure the mass, measured by using a beam balance, electronic balance, or physical balance. These three instruments which are shown in a figure are basically used to measure the mass. For example, the person's mass is same on the earth and the moon. As I have told you before, that mass is just the quantity of a material, and this quantity of a material remains same all over the universe, either on the earth or either on the moon. Now we'll discuss what is weight. We'll discuss what is the difference between weight and mass. Weight is basically related to the force of a gravity. If we discuss what is the weight of this apple or the object, and what is the weight of this apple on earth, then it refers to the force of gravity acting upon an apple. The gravitational force exerted on an object by another massive object like the earth is known as a weight. So, by this definition, we can say that the force of gravity acting upon this apple by the earth is known as a weight. And as we know that this force of gravity is different in the different planets. Formula for the weight is equal to mass into acceleration due to gravity. The System International unit of the weight is Newton. It is a vector quantity which has a magnitude and a direction only. Weight depends on the gravitational force. Weight changes with the gravitational pull. Symbol for the weight is W and is equal to mg as it is shown in a slide. W is equal to mg applies at all times even when the object is not accelerating. If suppose there is an object which is stationary sitting on earth, then the weight is continuously applying on that object, as the force of gravity is continuously applying on the object. If it is that object is stationary not moving, so the weight is continuously applying on the object. The weight is equal to the force is equal to m into g. If the object is in a free fall with no other force other than gravity acting. Common measurement instrument. Now we'll discuss which instruments are used to measure the weight. Balance scale, platform balance, analog weighing scale, electronic balance, spring balance. These four are basically the instruments which are used to measure the weight. Example: a person's mass is different on the earth and on the moon as shown in the figure. The mass of the person on the earth is 50 kilogram, and as we say that the mass is the quantity of a material, so the mass of the person will remain same on a moon also. On the other hand, the weight of that person will not remain same, as the weight is related to the force of gravity. Since the force of gravity of earth is 9.8 meters per second and the force of gravity of the moon is 1.86 meters per second, so the weight of the person will be different. However, the mass will remain same all over the universe on the earth and on the moon also. So this is the basic difference between mass and weight. Thank you.